So we got one hell of a live letter in live letter 52. And I think a couple of people out there were wondering how I'd react to everything.
Am I the only one that was thinking, like, during this part of the live letter, how fucking excited Brian's gonna be?
Yeah, probably.
Brian's like, UI changes, whoa!
Well, they're not wrong. Friday's live letter was absolutely amazing, and I feel like these UI videos talking about the UI coming into Shadowbringers is just me getting progressively more and more hyped. So this is another video in that series of me getting hyped for those damn patch notes because I really want them now. It has been absolutely amazing and I can't wait to get into it. But let's not waste any more time. Are you ready to talk about some more user experience upgrades? All right, let's head in. So apologies first off with my voice. It was E3 week, so my voice is a little taxed from both streaming and screaming a couple of things here and there. But other than that, live letter 52 on Friday was, again, an amazing live letter, and we're gonna go through all of this in the order that it was presented during the live letter. So the very first thing they talked about was there were a lot of questions that came in about charged actions, the charged action system. I actually got to use that on Gunbreaker. The Gunbreaker's gap closer is actually has 2 charges during the level 73 Titania fight. When you wipe, those charges will be given back to you. It's just like they just reset all of your cooldowns. It kind of makes sense that they would do that anyway, considering what they have reset over the years. It's been slow going. Like, it used to be that you got your MP and TP back, and we got a lot of that stuff during the Stormblood patch series. So it makes sense that, you know, people would be interested in making sure that they don't have to wait a couple of rounds of cooldowns to get their charges back. So that's not a problem. User experience wise, they went over gathering next. Some really interesting things here. May seem really small, but to the people who do a lot of gathering, they've made that easier. So if you were to get something from an ephemeral node, then you can supposedly set a timer to when the next time that ephemeral node will pop up. And this goes for unspoiled and legendary nodes as well. As long as you find it, you never have to, you can track it in game. So this is a really nice, small, pure quality of life change. And a lot of people in my chat were like, rip FF clock, FF14 clock, rip Garland tools. It's a really weird subject because we've had this in the Twitch world. If you're on Twitch, you probably run a add-on called Better TTV. And while I was working at Twitch, we actually worked to implement some of those features because you can't expect people to use add-ons. You can't expect them to use websites. They're helpful. They're helpful supports to a system that's lacking. That's why these sites are built. They feel like the game is lacking in some way, or the system or the website is lacking in some way, so they build this tool to make it easier. And when you see the development team start to implement these things into the game where they always should have been, I feel like that's a good thing. I wonder what the owners of FF Clock and the owners of Garland Tools think about this, but I personally think it's a really good thing to be able to give the user base. This is a big user base win. It's a win for you that this is now in game and that you can track these things without ever having to leave your window, because it's a lot to ask to do that. So wanted to get that bit out. I know it, you know, if you want to sound off in the comments on it, please do. I love to hear your views on it. But you know, having been in that situation before, I can definitely see it from both angles. Now, that was a bit of a tangent. There are going to be more in-game alarm enhancements, you know, regarding these gathering points, and I really think, again, it'll be an amazing value add. The less you can get somebody to have to go out to the internet and find information, the more that information can be found within the game itself, the better, at least in my view. So on to crafting, and this was another huge announcement because, like, just watch. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that.
That's so
Oh my
nice.
God. As you saw, there's a new crafting screen, and this crafting screen is absolutely magnificent. And I'm still so happy that they did this. And again, it's like, this is what they're showing us. Imagine the things that lie beneath the surface. Imagine the interactions that will happen when we start clicking in these things. But at least from this picture, let's go over this picture. It's pretty much the same. The top third is pretty much the same. They added a little bar for durability, so it's more visually apparent how much durability you have left. Again, I guess they're trying to supplement bars with numbers or numbers with bars. I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum when it comes to like the MP bar and the party list and everything like that. But that's a nice ad to be able to show visually how much durability you have. And it'd be even nicer if that when the durability goes down, that it would change color to be more of like an alert state. That'd be nice. The meat of all of this, well, before that, there's a collectibles icon now. And it'll be more apparent showing you when you're making a collectible. And believe me, I've spent enough time trying to give Zoe, 6 wonderful collectibles only to figure out that they weren't actually collectibles. But besides my crafting ability, let's not get into that. The big meat of this is the bottom 2/3, that drawer. And I say drawer because it's actually something that you can collapse. They've pretty much centralized all the buffs you get during crafting, which is absolutely amazing. They have now centralized your entire crafting experience in one window. It makes sense that they assign, these statuses like steady hand, like comfort zone as buffs. Okay, that's great. Shows you the steps. It made me change where this stuff was on my UI, just in case I needed to go craft. But the fact that they show it here in such a plain way is so amazing. It's like, this is the way it should always have been. And I'm sure there must have been some excitement on the UI team when they were actually able to do this and it was actually able to be done. It's so amazing. Like, think of the amount of work that it must have taken to centralize this stuff. And it's just, it explains itself. Anything I could say on top of this, it would just be accolades on top of accolades on how nice this UI is. And at the bottom, as if seeing all the information about crafting wasn't enough, they'll actually show you the progress with the base efficiency of 100. So if the base efficiency was 100% and you didn't use any efficiency buffs, then that is the number shown for progress and for quality is the exact number that your bar will go up by. So you can very easily see if you're able to complete a craft or not, or what you have to do in order to close the gap, which is great. And again, if you don't feel you need that, if it's too much UI, hide it. I think that's a UI paradigm that they're going to adopt. It's very similar to the tab bars that we now have in the crafting menu. And like they're going to be using this in other places, and they're going to be using this drawer in other places to, give you more information, but allow you to hide things if you feel like it's cluttering the UI. Okay, crafting, we're past that. There are going to be a lot more crafting log changes, like being able to see how much progress you're able to make on an item. You'll be able to see that in the crafting log. So before you even start crafting, you'll be able to see how much progress you can make on an item, do some simple math, and then see if you can actually do it, or if you need to, figure that would change depending on what gear you have. So if you need those melds, if you know exactly what you need to upgrade or meld into your gear to satisfy those requirements. So they went into system upgrades next, and let's just skip to the furnishing preview. Oh, look at that. It's all nicely sorted on the side. This is game changing. Plain and simple. The furnishing preview is absolutely game changing. It is a catalog. And I think Foxclon said this. It is the AR augmented reality version of a furniture catalog in-game. Like, there's an app I use, since we bought our home called House. And they literally have a AR feature where you could place a piece of furniture in your home. We now have that as furniture preview, and This is totally not what I thought it would be. I totally thought that you would, if you went to buy furniture or if you went to craft furniture, you could see what it looks like large, like just a picture or something like that. You could see what it'll look like detailed without having to go to like FF14 housing or any of the other housing sites, which I used to use to get a sense of all of these items that I could craft for my house. They just turned the knob up to 11 because they made an augmented reality system. And I mean, it's not really augmented reality. It's augmented reality to our character. That aside, you can preview furniture now. And it's absolutely amazing that not only can you preview furniture in your house, you can see all of the furniture. You don't have to build furniture in order to see it and then be like, that Leviathan fountain is way too freaking big. It's another thing that just doesn't, like, I can't add much more to it. You can even color stuff. You can see, preview how your furnishings will look colored. The only thing I could ask for in addition would be to, you know, be able to stack like walls if you wanted to like kind of lay out your, you know, your entire house. And, you know, I have a couple of friends who are really good with housing, and I could just see them use the system to try and get a sense of, you know, how an entire room would be laid out and things like that. But this is an amazing start. I don't want to make it seem like this isn't enough, because this is totally enough and totally something that I didn't expect them to do. They went extremely above and beyond what they needed to do when it came to furniture preview, and I absolutely love it. It will change the game when it, you know, everybody who now looks at furniture, all you newbies who are coming in, buying your first house, you will have it so much easier than we did when it comes to shopping for your furniture and shopping for people to get that furniture made. The only caveat though is that seasonal items will not be shown. Since those items are seasonal, of course, you know, it'd be a lot of work to have to update and remove them. And usually those seasonal items are like, they're tabletop items and things like that anyway. So they're still gonna require you to look at the website in order to get a sense of what those look like in your house. But amazing job. I'm tired. All of my energy has been spent talking about that, but we still have a couple more things. Centaurio seals are being expanded from 1,000 to 4,000. That's not even the best thing when it comes to hunts. If you get a bill, like a B rank bill, when you go to the place and you're looking for the enemy that's on the bill, I think it will work like the ether compass when you're looking for ether currents. I think it'll work like the compass, in that you click on the bill and then it will like it'll pop and be like, this is where, like, you sense your mark to the north. The fact that it's worded in the way it is really makes it seem like that's the way they're going, and that you'll be able to use your mark as a compass. Awesome. For the people that are just getting into hunts and not really knowing what these bills do, and that they don't want to get lost or anything like that, this is a great value add. And then for the people amongst you who are big fans of S ranks or hunting S ranks, or you have your hunting ling shells, they'll now tell you when the mark spawns. So awesome. It's so easy. So simple, so easy, so big. So many people were just losing their minds over this on in the different Twitch chats that I was looking at while we were going over the live letter. So it's really just nice to see people happy over all of these user experience changes. The last one I have for you is the retainer window, and they did say in a lot of the interviews that the retainer window would be revisited and it would be changed, but that they changed it into this is amazing. Absolutely great. You know, you can see all of your retainer information at a glance. I did show my wife this, and she has always been particularly critical of the retainer system, mainly because of the number of clicks it takes to have to do anything with your retainer. It's at least 3 to 4 clicks to even assign it a venture. So at least with what we see here in this UI, you get that overview of how much gil they have, which is absolutely amazing. That eliminates clicks in itself. What job they are, what venture they're running, where they're selling stuff and how much they're selling. If they just replace the overview UI, that's completely fine and a wonderful quality of life addition in and of itself, because that solves like 80% of the problems that you would, want to know when you click in. And it seems like this will be updated live. One problem I always saw with the retainers is that in order to gather information from them, you had to actually call them and then exit out of the menu, and then you'd see like how many items they're selling and where they're selling it from. I was gone for a time with the house stuff, and like I went to my retainers and like none of them were selling anything, and I didn't know where they were so it seems like that information had a timeout of some sort. I don't think this one will, just because like I don't think they're gonna want to have like an empty column. If you haven't played in a while and you go to your retainers, like it should still have that cached, I think. And I think it will. The UI kind of explains or kind of determines what the user experience or what's required of the developers who are making it. So I'm going to assume, for the purposes of this video, that all these columns will always be full, that you don't actually have to call a retainer in order to load that information. They probably are surfacing some kind of summary. What I do hope they do, though, is that they simplify the actions below that menu and make it a little bit easier to assign ventures, to send them out on missions and things of that nature. They did go over achievement filters as well, and we went over that in a previous video, so I'll throw the link up there for you so you can check that out. But yeah, other than that, I'm kind of scared, and I'm excited and scared at how much work it's going to be to go through all of these patch notes. So just as an overview for how we're going to take care of the 5.0 changes, I will be in Minnesota for Summer Games Done Quick during the 48-hour maintenance window before early access. I will be watching the patch reading, as much of it as I can, to gather notes as to what changes we'll be going over. Given that I can talk 15 minutes on a single feature, it's going to be a long video. So I want to know from you what the best way is for me to present this information. Do you want it in one large monolithic video with timestamps, or do you want it in separate pieces so you can, watch them as a series? Please let me know in the comments below. I will take it into consideration because, again, I just want to be able to present this information in a simple and like grokkable manner, understandable manner, and one that optimizes how you want to experience this. I've never done this before. I've never gone in depth like this before, so I want to do it right the first time, or at least right enough so that I can keep learning as we go along and as we keep creating videos for the Shadowbringers launch and the patch series that follows. So my voice is pretty much gone again, but I hope you enjoyed this video on all of the user interface and experience stuff that came out of the live letter. What a time to be starting to do a series on user experience when the powers that be over at Square are dropping so many amazing quality of life upgrades on us. I was excited for Stormblood. I was extremely excited for Stormblood, but I think that my excitement now for both the quality upgrades in the game, especially with all the people coming in and joining us and playing it, so all of those quality of life upgrades plus the amazing story we're about to get with Shadowbringers, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier. Less than 2 weeks, my friends, before early access, and we'll see if we can pump out 1 or 2 videos before then. It's going to be a pretty busy week for a lot of us, busy 2 weeks for a lot of us. Thank you for everything, everybody, and thank you for your support and your comments and reaching out and thinking of me when you think of UX and this game. But I hope you look forward to more videos coming out about the user experience of Final Fantasy XIV. But until then.